women, drumming. Sometimes the two don't mix. When I was about 19 to 24, I had a beautiful girlfriend, absolutely beautiful, one that I've never been able to duplicate as far as the person that she was. You know, I didn't understand what I had, and the breakup was horrible. Okay. The reason I'm saying this is because right now, one of my students on the lesson site, you know, there's over 600 students on there from all over the world. So one of my students is having a lot of trouble in his life, his personal life, with his girlfriend is going through a great breakup, and it's very sad. And believe me, I know what that's like. Now, on the lesson site, you know, most of the guys are signed up for the year course, and there's a lot of interaction, you know, on WhatsApp, video calls, stuff like that. So we get to know each other pretty well over the course of the year. It's not like I just let you loose on the site and you just never hear from them. You know, it's on purpose that I do it that way, because I think it's important to have kind of a mentor. You know, not kind of a mentor. It's important to have a mentor, especially young guys. Why? Because musicians are a special breed, okay? Drummers are a very particularly special breed. Now, as a musician, as an artist in general, I think the type of personality that you need, that you already are kind of born with maybe, is a more sensitive, open, soulful, you know, even more vulnerable type of person. Now, this vulnerability can make you stronger. This whole thing, everything can make you stronger if you know how to project it and how to use it. But the thing is, when you're young, you know, you without a mentor, without somebody guiding you, you know, left alone in all these situations, your drumming is going to suffer. I've wasted so much time in depressions over women. You know, when I was about 19 to 24, I had a beautiful girlfriend, absolutely beautiful, one that I've never been able to duplicate as far as the person that she was. You know, I didn't understand what I had, and the breakup was horrible. Okay, on my end, I admit that I totally screwed up. I screwed up so bad, but I didn't have like anyone guiding me through it. All I had was silence, you know. I didn't have not one way of dealing with it properly. Now, a lot of that is because of the way, you know, I am. The mentors I had around me, you know, I didn't really talk too much about that situation, which was truly a bummer. But I did have people around me, good people that helped me with my drumming, and I was able to somehow, when I came out of that whole thing, function. But believe me, it took me a long time, like years, to get over it. Years. And it was not a pretty picture at all. So having a mentor, you know, in these cases can really make a difference in your life. Not only in drumming, but in your personal life. I remember Chuck Flores. I don't know if you guys know Chuck Flores. He was a great drummer, passed away many years ago. I used to go to his rehearsals. I used to help him with his drums. You know, he'd be driving and he'd telling me stories, and I'd go to his rehearsals and sit right next to him and turn the pages on the chart as he was playing, you know, and we'd talk, and he'd, you know, it was amazing. It was something that you will never, ever get off of YouTube or, you know, videos in general. You have to have a mentor. Now, I'm the first to admit I didn't take proper advantage of the situation. Not advantage, but I didn't do it so well, because hey man, I'm the first to admit I was a giant drum nerd. My social skills were, you know, I didn't know how to handle myself. I didn't know how to control my emotions and all that stuff. It's really, really, like a firecrackers going off like a loose cannon emotionally, but I was so focused on drumming that probably saved my life, to be quite honest. Drumming saved my life. I don't want to get into too many crazy details, but the focus on drumming and music really saved my life. And there were enough people around me to keep my passion alive, even though I was going through a ton of shit. So now with my student, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I can listen. I am a good listener, and I can tell what happened from my perspective, that it helps him. Okay, it helps him to deal with it. Maybe I tell him a couple of stories, or just listening. That's good enough. Now, mentorship in drumming is super important, as you know. Not only in the relationship side, but drumming side. But the two combined make a very, very powerful combination, because you can use the energies of those two things to feed into your drumming and make you a much better player. I think the worst kind of player is some non-emotional guy that nothing has ever happened to him, just playing like nothing. I can spot those guys. Most people, it's no mystery, can spot those guys right away. Some really guy that's just playing like a robot, I remember one of my teachers telling me a story one time about how he was, his name remains anonymous, he was coming up and he had this problem, right? When he played, it was like technically okay and everything. But one time he was playing, I'm not going to say the artist, but it was a huge artist back in the 50s. And he said to him, "Come here, man. Take this bottle of vodka, drink the whole thing, and come back tomorrow." What the hell? That's like the old days, It totally reminds me of the old days where people are like, "Yeah, see, you're going to drink this whole bottle of vodka, say." Sorry, I just had to do the voice. But, that type of thing you're never going to get by watching videos, by being a passive observer. You need a mentor. You need guidance, especially younger guys. Older guys, they already been through it all, but they still need a drumming mentor. The reason I'm saying all this is because, I can totally relate to the struggles of the drummer. I know them all. I know them all so well. And me being a little older now, it's a bit easier to relate because of that. I've been through things that most every drummer has been through in their personal life or professional life and stuff like that. So the role for me is I got to be honest, it's not one that I take lightly and not one that I fall into right away, but it's something that I think as you grow in your music and you've been around a long time, a role that you kind of have to accept, and the contribution that you can make is a very high level when you do that. I had a girlfriend when I was much younger. When I think about her now, it's like another life, it's like it's like, did it really happen? It's that type of thing. I was so different. Can you ever really forget those episodes? Can you ever really forget? I think, the biggest piece of advice I gave to my student was, listen, man, you got to hang tough right now. Hang tough. I know what you're going through, but trust me, time heals almost everything. It may take years, and sometimes you never, ever forget. I think you never forget because to be a musician, like I said, it takes a different type of personality, especially to reach the highest levels of drumming skill and ability. You almost have to be like a giant nerd, like innocent in many regards, to be able to block out the world and stay in a room by yourself hour after hour after hour, year after year. To do that takes a special kind of person, somebody who's super dedicated, almost monk-like, and has a passion that's not going away anytime at all, you know? So the human being that has to deal with that is put in that situation by life, there's no choice in that, you know? It's a special human being. I've dealt with it myself. I've seen it happen to many people around, and students, you know, even colleagues, of course. And it's something very real. So a mentor can help guide you through that. You know, there are so many stories I could tell you about cats that, you know, came up to me during that time. There's this one cat, and name was Eddie Taduri. Okay, I'm just going to tell you a little story. Eddie Taduri, and he's an incredible guy, great drummer, incredible human being. If you just look him up, you know, Eddie Taduri, he has a foundation that helps kids and all this stuff. And anyway, he didn't have this foundation back then, but he always was like this. I was at his house one day. He saw me. I was super depressed, man. I was like, oh, so messed up. And, you know, I went over to his pad, and he's like, hey, man. He started telling me stories, and he could relate to me so well. And I was just sat there and listened to him. And he said, man, if you have to cry, just cry right here. I'm here. You know, just cry. Just let it all out, man. Of course, I didn't, because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it at all. I was like, no, I was too scared, you know. But that type of thing doesn't happen with videos. This impersonal thing, like even on many drumming sites, you know, you go and you do the computer little thing, and where's the contact with the drummer, with the instructor, with the person giving you the material? That is such an essential human part of being a musician that I'm literally in shock that it is dying. Okay, it's literally like going away, unless you're in university or something, you know. But it's a bit worrisome, and I'm just telling you all this because. You know, I know that a lot of you might be going through the same thing, although you don't say. You know, I didn't say too much. But the point is that you can channel all this emotion, all these things into your drumming and have drumming save you. Drumming and music can be a most powerful, incredibly powerful tool for your life. The output you can create from sadness, from trials and tribulations, more than happiness, I think. The music you can put out through those experiences, unbelievable productivity you can draw from that. So, you know, anyway, listen, I'm no psychologist, but I've been through a ton of shit. My first girlfriend, I regret that forever. But I didn't know what I had. I was too young, and all I saw was drums, drums, drums. It's such a bummer. But I didn't know what I had, okay? I used that to propel the rest of my life, to propel my career, and to keep going through. You can't imagine, you know, the things. You know, maybe you can. The things that I've gone through to keep playing and do what I want to do. I mean, it all seems like, hey, oh, fantastic on the superficial aspect, you know. But believe me, there was many things that shaped the way I play, that shaped the way I am. Okay, so I hope this was useful for you. If you like this type of video, I can do more like this. I don't want to stray too far away from drumming, but I do feel that this is such a huge part of drumming that you should not be able to escape it. You can't, you have to face these things to be a real musician with soul. You have to play with soul, and you have to channel all these things into your music. All right, folks. Don't forget to join the lesson site. Only $150 gets you into the year program. See you there. Peace.